I had dinner with the founder or the owner of the South African cycling team, and he said the woman that I'm about to interview is a miracle worker. Who
Okay.
who are you?
I'm Dr. Cheryl Calder. I'm a sports scientist. Been working in the field of sports science for the last 30 years.
Yeah. And the South African cycling team owner told me that you took his worst player or worst rider in terms of falls per race because he had a perception problem when the peloton got close together and he started going
Yeah,
really fast. He had a perception problem and fell a lot of
yeah,
times. And he used your app for I think 10 minutes a day for 6 months, and now he's best on the team, or he was back when I had dinner with the owner. Is that
yeah.
true? And is that the kind of work you do?
No, that is true. The exciting thing, it has an effect on performance. And if you want to be better than what you are, it's trainable. We can give you a training program and you can improve those specific skills.
And so you're not trying to improve my sensors, my eyes, right? You're trying to improve my brain, how it perceives, how it handles that information that my eyes are picking up, right?
Yeah, actually both. It's actually how your input skills, how you take information in. So you can imagine a cyclist, he's got to be seeing the road, what's happening around him, what's happening with other riders, taking turns. I mean, we've just watched the Tour de France and you could see it's really a hectic race, uphills, downhills, speed, etc. So that information initially you've got to take in. You've got to make sure it's accurate and you've got to make sure it's quick or fast, taking it in really quickly. And then you've got to process it in the brain. So you get the brain to take that information that you've seen, and if it's correct and accurate, it would process it correct and accurate and give it back to the body to respond. Now you can imagine if what we take in is not accurate or not quick enough, the response is always not going to be accurate or quick enough. So we just train those skills and make you make better decisions and respond more effectively.
Yeah, I'm starting a new video series and I'm really going to focus on people who augment human beings rather than just try to replace us with the AI, and do away with our jobs or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And how did you discover this? Because you're a unique person I've met in life. I've been, interviewed thousands of people, and I haven't found somebody who really figured out how the human mind works and is exercising that with technology to make the human mind better, right?
Yes, I mean, it's really been a life's work. So as a young kid, I think my friends and family thought I was crazy because I was always experimenting with how do you do that? How do you do it quicker? How do you do it more accurate? How do you respond better? How do you get better at what you're doing? And I just did this. It was inherently in what I was doing all the time. And then I got to play international field hockey for South Africa, and various people in all different teams, wherever I played, opponents, different countries I played against, just always coaches came to me and players came and said, how did you see that? And how did you do that? And I thought they saw what I did till I got to a point and I realized, no, maybe they don't. Maybe I do see differently. And by the nature of developing these skills, I came across, I approached a professor at the University of Cape Town and I said, we really can impact performance. And he said, well, I'll teach you to research if you teach me, what's in your head. And that's how it really started. I did my PhD and showed that if you train the eyes and the brain and the body in a certain way, you can impact performance. So that's where it all started, from my own being inquisitive.
It's crazy what you do, I get why it would help a professional athlete because the margin between, well, I interviewed Dick Fosbury, who has his name on the sport of high jumping, and the difference between gold and metal and silver, and putting his name on the sport and being forgotten is 2 centimeters, 8.3 feet in the air, right? So the margins are so slim that every professional athlete is looking for anything that'll get them, a little bit better, because that means the difference between gold and bronze or not medaling like at the Olympics we just
Right.
saw.
Yeah, I agree. And an exciting thing is if you haven't trained these specific skills, you are actually not performing to your potential. So it means we can make you better than what you are.
It's
So
just crazy.
that's
And what's mind blowing is you're now using these techniques that you hone with professional athletes and are bringing them to everybody, right? Because everybody can use your thing for 20 bucks a month or something like that. And you use it for 10 minutes a day for a few months, and all of a sudden you're seeing better. Well, tell me what it
yeah.
would do for a normal everyday person, not just a high-end athlete.
Well, we all do work, so we're all involved in some kind of work rather. So it would improve your productivity because you would be focusing and concentrating and um, doing what you should be doing. You also drive your car home, and you know with what happens on the roads nowadays, you've got to be aware when to stop, is what's coming into your view, how you should judge to the car in front of you. Um, and then just everyday life. It just improves your overall awareness of what's happening around you. And the everyday person, because we're spending so much time on screens, we're losing all these crucial skills which you should develop naturally, but we're not. So we're coming back and we're spending 6 hours a day on this, and then thinking we've got to go out there and scan and make a decision and track correctly and judge correctly, and we're not, because we're actually abusing those skills. So for the everyday person, really crucial just in everyday life, in everything you do.
If somebody was using your app for the first time, what does it look like on the screen, and what is it doing? What do I have to do to exercise my mind? Yeah.
Well, first of all, the information you're taking in is nothing you can predict. So there are different things happening on the screen which you have to respond to and make a decision. So if it's something every day that we know every day, then it's easy to respond. But you can never predict what you're seeing, and then how quickly you have to process it, because you've got to make a motor response and a decision. Because if you don't do it, as I said earlier, accurately and quickly, you're not going to pass. And the training gym has got 40 levels, and you start, the first 5 levels are like kind of introduction. And if you don't pass a level, it will keep you there, just like in a normal gym. If you pick up weights, if you can't pick up a heavier weight, it will keep you there for a period till you've trained to be able to pick up heavier weights. Exactly the same in my system. That's why I've called it iGym. It's such an easy concept. So it trains those input skills, processing, response skills, and it will keep you on a level till you're good enough to move on. And what's really interesting, we find so for the elite guy, they feel terrible when they don't do well in all the skills. But as I said, we all have these stuff we're good at and stuff we're not good at. So it kind of, there's like a personal trainer that keeps you in certain areas till you're good enough to move on. So it's fun, and it gives you a score. It gives you a performance coefficient of response and accuracy. You can see how quickly you can make a decision, and you can measure yourself all the time, and that's what's important.
You designed this to be used on a monitor of some size, like my iMac monitor, a bigger
Yeah.
monitor, not really an iPhone, because you need your eyes to move around a wide place, right? Is that
Right.
true? Because
No, that's absolutely.
I heard you have a new iPhone app too for the athletes.
Yes, no, that's absolutely true, because you need this awareness around you, and when you're in here, you lose that, and you lose your judgment, and you lose those eye movement skills. But yes, I do have an app, but it's not a training app. It's actually been designed to get you ready to perform, or get you ready to work, get you ready to do whatever you do as a human being. It's almost like a wake up, or a fire up to perform. So it's just 2 minutes just to heighten those skills that you need for everyday life, or elite sport, or driving. We work, for example, we work with truck drivers, where we've brought down accident rates, we've brought down fuel usage, because they judge better, they don't accelerate that quickly. So their whole driving skill improves, and it has an impact on the whole industry.
Have you been inside an Apple Vision Pro yet? And are you thinking about augmented or spatial computing like that? Because glasses that are coming, and that's one reason I'm talking to you today, is I know the industry is coming in the next 18 months with very lightweight augmented reality glasses that have a big screen in front of you. Are you watching that field evolve like the Apple Vision Pro or the Quest 3
Yeah,
from Meta?
absolutely. I mean, I can't wait because it kind of puts you in the ideal world, you know, because the bigger the screen, the better. Plus, you still have awareness around you, you know, so that would be fantastic as soon as we can get Arjun working on that. Maybe it might make our results even better.
So someday will I have an AI talking to me and go, "Hey, it's time to exercise your eyes. Here's a little a screen that you need to play some game on, or so, you know, or do something on for a
I hope
few
so.
minutes to make my eyes better," right?
I hope so, because we really want to impact every person's life. We believe every single person can improve their skills, and that would be the ideal world.
Yeah. What is it that most people don't understand about how the human brain works?
Well, people, I think there's a general concept: what you're born with is what you've got, and I mean, it's a real amazing field because the brain is trainable. They talk about plasticity, and you can improve the brain. So we do, for example, we do a lot of work with kids where we improve their learning skills. Um, so, I mean, we've always thought what you've got is what you've got, and we've shown that those skills are all trainable. So you can make new connections, and we can force the body to the eyes and the brain to work more effectively. And I mean, how exciting is that? Because we can make every person play better, train better, drive better, work better, whatever, you know, whatever you do.
You're an inspiring person because you're making my brain better, you know, and there's not very many people. Are there other places in the human mind that we could use similar techniques to make us better? You know, is this an unmined area of research?
Very much unmined, and of course we've got to change the concepts of people. You know, so for me, I'm actually I improve these skills, and then it shows improvement in your performance, and that's what's important, isn't that? Whatever be better at what they're doing, and because I've done such a lot of work in elite sport, I mean, if you get a player to perform better, it has a whole effect. He feels better, does better, you know, more confidence, etc. So I always say I'm really in the business of changing people's lives, and my work's so exciting because on a daily basis I get feedback from people saying this and this and this, you know. So it's really exciting.
It it
I'm blessed to be able to do.
it really is, and it's an honor talking to you because you've changed people's lives at a high level that few don't get to do. Um, where where do you think your business is going? You know, do you think you're going to have an app on the Vision Pro someday? You know, as the glasses get lighter weight, because right now they're too heavy. I don't like wearing it. You know,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might be able to put your app in it, but I don't really want to wear it. You know.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the technology is just going to get better and better. Ultimately, we need to find ways, and I mean, in my business, we need to start looking at getting funding to be able to improve the tech, because you need to keep being innovative all the time. If it's the new glasses, and I'm sure they're going to progress really quickly. They'll get lightweight, etc. It would be new ways of training in a more effective way. So that would be a great asset to the science of what I do.
My friend Andy Grignon worked with Steve Jobs, and he said there was an employee at Apple who was really amazing at negotiating. He said this guy negotiated a price down in a meeting, and Andy said, I was watching this go down, I was paying attention, and I couldn't figure out what he was doing.
Yeah.
Is your technique going to let somebody read somebody better,
Oh,
negotiate
absolutely.
better, have
Yeah,
better
absolutely.
interpersonal relationship because they're able to see things that like I can't see?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no doubt. I call it think on your feet. And we have some of our clients before they go into corporate meetings who actually do a little bit of our gym just so that they prepare for for the meeting. So I have no doubt that it has the ability to do that because you could pick up not only visual things, but because your brain is functioning better, you can pick up information which you can recall other information, and it all comes together, and you can make a better decision. I've no doubt. I've no doubt that you can do that.
The blind took me to dinner and to a concert one time, in dark rooms where I couldn't see anything. In other words, my eyes were taken away from me, and I noticed the rest of my sensory capabilities really shot up. My
Yeah,
hearing went better, my smell went
right,
better, my sense of
right.
even feeling went better. Do you find that exercising the perception system of your mind, it brings other benefits to other sensors in your human being, right?
Yeah, look, I know that about 80 to 90% of decisions you make is based on visual information. So
Yeah.
that we know. Yes, if you do take away some sense, you do heighten the other senses as well. So, yeah, that absolutely does happen. Um, we do some training where we overload the visual system, for example, put it under pressure, and that then heightens that ability to want to function, more effectively. So, yes, we do use that principle as well in the work that we do.
Wow. We should
And
talk about
it's
human.
amazing.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No.
Yeah, just a really simple example. If I worked with a Formula 1 driver, and once he'd done RGM, I always used to ask him how does RGM affect his performance, and he used to say, when I get in the car and drive and race, everything seems slow motion. Now, actually, what it is that you're taking information in so quickly that you have time to make a decision, and it seems like slow motion. And I've heard that when people are involved in accidents, that everything seems to happen really slowly,
Yeah.
but it's because those senses are super heightened. But with the Formula 1 driver, he gave us that feedback just by doing RGM, because we heightened his his ability, his take information in and perceive what he's doing. So yes, it is possible to improve that ability.
Very cool. I, I have, we should talk about brain computer interfaces. This is a device from a company called NextMind, which Snap bought and sort of has disappeared. But it's a bunch of EEG sensors that sits on the back of your head, which is where most of your visual processing is done. And it can sort of tell what I'm looking at. Are you starting
Right.
to work with the industry to think about human brain interfaces, or are you working with anybody like at Neuralink or something like that, trying to figure out how humans are going to see things in the future?
Not at the moment, but of course, can you imagine the combination of that and what I do? What kind of results you can get out of that? So I would love to work with some companies who do that, and share what I do, and maybe come across something exceptional.
Give me, you have some amazing stories of professional athletes, and like you told me, I think about a football player who, when the football came in the sun, he had a perception system problem, and he couldn't see it. He lost track of the ball and he would drop it. And then after using
Right.
your app, I think he got way better. Can you give me a few of these kinds of stories of what you've done for
Yeah, actually,
professional athletes?
actually, yeah, NFL player, and even with no pressure on him, a ball coming towards him. He was a wide receiver, and even with no pressure, would drop balls all of a sudden in his career, etc. And they got me to come work with him, and obviously I tested him, and I realized some of his skills. had deteriorated or were not up to stand. Let's rather say we're not fit enough or we're not good enough, and worked with him for a really short period and got him back to catching correctly again, getting the balls out the air, etc. And he actually took one amazing catch, and I asked him, "How did you do that?" I think they call it a circus catch in NFL, and he said, "A God up above and Ajahn helped me." So yes, we did train him and got him, just made the skill that wasn't good enough better. And again, like I said, that's the whole full circle: play better, feel better, perform better, do better. It has an effect on your whole career. And we think, I always tell most people I work with, we think because you're an elite player that you're good at everything, but you're not. And again, I say, if you haven't trained these skills, you can be much better than what you are.
Yeah. I wonder if Steph Curry has your system as he's nailing 3-pointers from half court that are like, what? How do you see that? How do you predict that? How do you throw the ball to to go in the basket from that far away, right?
Right. No, he's amazing.
Um, what else are you seeing happen in the world from your perspective that's interesting along these lines, making humans better?
Probably the biggest dilemma at the moment is overuse of smartphones.
Oh yeah, I'm addicted.
No, most people are. How much time would you spend in a
All
week
day
or
long.
not in a day? All day long. Okay.
No,
So,
that's not true.
so,
I mean, but most of the day I'm on a screen, whether it's my
yes,
iMac or
yes,
usually my small screen, because I'm always looking at my phone while walking around
right.
and doing things, right?
Yeah, just the small screen, as I said earlier, the eyes and the brain were not, the human being wasn't designed to work on the small screen. So we need to find ways of just countering that. And because it's become part of our lives, you need to do it as part of your work, etc. So, but we need to find ways of countering the negative effects of that. And we believe that iGym is an antidote to that overuse of smartphones. So if you do a couple of minutes a day, not on your phone, but on your iPad or on your Mac or on your computer, you could counter those effects, especially, as an elite athlete, because I think they spend probably more time than everyday working people. So it would be
Yeah.
beneficial for them to maintain their skill level, because it has a direct effect on your skill level as an athlete.
When I visited you years ago, you had me do like the first a test, right? You were testing out my system, and you found my eyes were like 39% of your average clientele, which tells you that most of the people who come and see you are athletes who are fairly good with their eyes, and my
Yeah,
eyes suck.
yeah.
What is your system able to tell just from the user using it, about the user, about the human? What kinds of perception system problems can you pick up on, and what kinds of things can you pick up on about the human being on that first test?
Yeah, I mean, there are various skills, a whole lot of skills that we train. And as I said, we all have these strengths and weaknesses. So I can pick out and say, but I have to say, Robert, we get some elite athletes who also get less, 39% or less. So don't feel bad at all. So you would have had some cool strengths that, counteracted the bad ones. So you didn't do too badly at all. But for the elite athlete and for the everyday person and the school kid and whoever we work with, it would just make a difference by making the bad skills better already. And it could be different things. We have some athletes, the ability to track or follow is not up to standard. We have some people who can't respond quick enough in the peripheral. We have a lot of others who judge incorrectly. And if you're judgment is wrong, your response is always going to be inaccurate anyway. So it's all these little skills which we use on an absolute daily basis, which just aren't up to standard. And I also have certain skills which are not as good as others, but I try and do our gym regularly and maintain those skills all the time. But if I stop training, just like a normal physical system, if I stop doing it, it goes back to where I was again.
I used to be able to run marathons. I can't do that anymore because I stopped running, right?
You got to get going again.
Oh man, that's too much work. And this is probably the same reaction people have with you. Oh, what do I need to spend 10 minutes a day working out my mind? Right? It's how do you get the human discipline to do the work to improve yourself, right?
Yeah. But however, with our gym, once you're fit enough, so we've worked out, like, it depends on the individual how fit you are, how quickly you could get fit. You could spend about between 200 and 300 minutes in our gym, and then you can then get on a maintenance program where you might just do it once or twice a week and still maintain that ability. So it doesn't mean you have to do it every day. As a business leader, you might do it before you go to meetings. As a school kid, you might do it before you write an exam, or something like that. So once you've got it fit enough, we use the eyes and the brain and the body all the time. So you use a lot of those skills. So the maintenance of that is way better than say running a marathon. So it's exciting. It's just you must want to be better than what you are, or you must want to be healthier than what you are. Because it affects your wellness, etc.
Why can't you do this exercising just walking around the world and playing with your mind? What is it about your thing that really pushes that to the next level and makes it better than something you can do with your own, intuition, particularly if you're a sports person, right? You're always throwing things and catching things right?
Right. Well, probably one of the more important skills is that if you don't focus and concentrate, you actually can't do our gym. So what it does, it actually draws you in and forces you to concentrate and keeps you in that zone while you're doing the exercise. Whereas me, just as a human being, I get distracted. Something happens and I look away so it's very hard to train that ability just in everyday things. So it really has to draw you in, train. And the exciting thing, you can make 500 decisions in 10 minutes of training based on something you haven't seen before. And you can imagine how that impacts your performance. So it's really concise, a lot of training in a very short time.
Your screen, when I'm using it, has all sorts of colors, all sorts of numbers, a lot of movement. A cursor is moving around, and I have to, focus on that. Really complex stuff. Most people, if they haven't seen it, they have no concept of how well it actually exercises your mind, I guess, right?
Actually, what you can do, if you go to rgym.com, there's a little test yourself and have a look, see what your performance coefficient is like, see what you score. It will give you a basic indicator of how good those skills are for you as an individual.
Very cool. Well, I dream of a world where I get these glasses. I mean, I have a HoloLens and I have a Vision Pro back here, right? But they're too heavy. We know lighter weight ones are coming, and I want to see your app in there where I can, train inside the glasses. Maybe I have 10 minutes extra at a Starbucks or something like that, right? And I can exercise my eyes.
Can't wait to do that. Yeah. Maybe on those devices, you might not need 10 minutes. You might only need 2 minutes. You never know. We could look at the design of the app in that way, where on the bigger awareness, almost real situation, I think we could accelerate your performance even quicker.
Very cool. And we find you at igym.com?
Yes, we do.
It's a real honor to talk to you, and thank you for what you do for human beings and certainly for the professional athletes who, uh, like I said, margin between winning and being forgotten is not very big. So you help a lot of people perform better. So thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Really, really cool chatting to you. Thank you.